raise the bar. Scott, you raising the bar?
Every day.
No, man, he's just stealing logos.
My first
congrats
time.
on your launch and the logo debate.
Thank you.
Oh man, it's so funny. But we talked about it yesterday a little bit as it came up on the show notes, and we're just like, God damn, why are people freaking out about this shit? Like,
yeah, we knew it was going to happen. We were kind of glad it happened on the first day, and we got rid of the FUD.
We won't talk about it anymore. Actually, I'm not interested in that whatsoever.
Okay. Perfect.
But I am interested in sort of the gap you see in the world and where Share sort of fits into it, because as we were even putting this show together, we have, I think, the title below you here, Social Network for Traders, which is a title we could have used for probably a half a dozen teams that we've had on here in the last little while. So I'm curious, where's the opportunity you see, and what is Share doing differently?
Yeah, for sure. So my vision for Share is to build the real-time feed of what's happening in financial markets. And I think a lot of people, when they approach this problem, they're only looking at like the one use case of a social feed for alpha. And I would say 99% of people don't have alpha. If they might not want to admit that, but it's true. And when you look at the pump.fund numbers, like most users actually lose money. And I think a social feed can be a lot more than just funding alpha. It could also be about funding entertainment and also about funding like breaking news, because all these transactions happen for a reason. And it's a really nice way to like stay up to date with what's happening. And you're getting the news actually before Twitter does, because people are incentivized to move markets before they ever post on a social network like Twitter or Instagram. So with Share, what we're doing is we really believe that vision, and we really architected the product to make sure that we can like expand into all these different content types, and that the product experience is not just about like P&L and ROI. Most people actually want to hide their P&L and ROI from the interviews that we've done, and instead making sure that like this infrastructure can actually index every single transaction and every single wallet, and not just the wallets on our application currently. So we've been building Share for the last 2 years, and a big part of that was actually building this block explorer for Solana and for EVM, and then pinning the social network on top of that, and then indexing Farcaster in addition to that, and every ENS name and every base subdomain.
Can you just maybe put a finer point on how that perspective changes what scrolling the feed, like the experience of scrolling the feed is like? I think probably most people listening to this have used FOMO or Vector, or, maybe now Clicker. So taking this like non-alpha perspective, like how does that actually translate into the product?
Yeah, I think it leads to just more time on the app, because you're not just looking to find alpha. Like in terms of alpha, that really comes from push notifications and just watching like transactions. But when people start adding content, memes, and like videos and text on top of those posts, you just get like a richer experience and a lot more engagement. And it's not only interesting for like other token holders, it's also really interesting for the creators of those tokens. I've been around a lot of token creators, and I can tell you they spend a lot of their day every day on Twitter scrolling, seeing what their token holders are saying about them and how they're reacting, how the chart is reacting to product announcements. So Share is like a really nice way for them to also engage with their communities as well. And yeah, like we're just seeing like a lot more time spent on the app, and people finding like tokens that they've never even purchased, like interesting to engage with. And I think that leads to a lot more discovery.
I'm really curious where you see the wedge here. Like, what is the thing that's? I mean, when was the last app I downloaded, Josh? Like, I tried to download the Polymarket app that just doesn't exist, because I was like, this web UX is shit, and I need something better. But I think it's no easy thing to get somebody to download a new app, and so I'm curious where you see like either the pain point or the opportunity point or that wedge to go get somebody like me to say, hell yeah, I need to download this right now.
Yeah, so we took the Instagram approach of building a single player tool, but having the social network follow after. So you come for the tool, you stay for the network. So on Share, you can track any wallet ever created on chain, every Farcaster profile ever created, etc. You can trade with any wallet on Share, so it's super composable. It's not just having an embedded wallet that people have a lot of like high turnover and friction to like go use. So there's definitely like that single player. And then every time you do a transaction on chain, we send you a push notification saying, hey, share why you did this. And that becomes like a nice flywheel. Now you're posting like, here's why I did this. And people want to take this like economic capital that they spent and they want to convert it into social capital. So we're seeing like a really high percentage of users like actually go and like activate that prompt and start to share their like, trades. And then we also built a completely native monetization program for creators on Share. And seems like we're the only app that launched recently to do this, which is every time someone copy trades you on Share, you actually earn 50 bips on every copy trade, and that's paid out instantly to your wallet. And that's whether you're on the app or whether you're not on the app. We're still streaming those payments to you. So for the first time, like wallets actually have their own monetization flow. So I think that's like also a really nice wedge. And then the last thing I would say is like when you look at like the typical life cycle of a user buying a token, they are using some terminal, whether it's Axiom or Deck Screener, and then they're going on Twitter to check the social sentiment of that token, and they're doing it really inefficiently by putting the ticker or putting the contract address, etc. With Share, you get like that full flow where you're discovering through the social feed, and since these people actually have skin in the game, you can trust their position and you can trust what they're saying. You can get real-time updates if they change their minds and they later sell. So that's like a really nice wedge to like just stay up to date on what's happening and to like just do better research on tokens that you're trying to trade.
I'm interested in what you think are the most interesting assets or like transactions as content. I think when I use FOMO or kind of these other social like trading as social products, it feels like the UX is great. But the core asset being this like hyper kind of rotational thing is ultimately what kind of ruins the experience for me. It's like I see a notification. Yeah, I see, someone's bought it. I'm already too late, but whatever. I try to buy it anyways, and I lose my money, and I'm gone because like the core asset is kind of
I think
so. Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah, go.
Yeah, what you're saying is like it's too focused on like alpha, and I agree because there's not just like one alpha every day. There's like thousands of like new tokens launching every day, so it doesn't have that same excitement, which is why like we're focused not only on like finding alpha but also on finding entertainment. Entertainment, is an umbrella term. There's a lot of things underneath that umbrella, like FUD. Like for example, when like Launchcoin increased their supply by 33%, you could have imagined like a lot of shares there about people selling their like Launchcoin and FUDing Ben, and Ben having to respond to those people because the people trading your token are controlling your net worth and your company's future. So you do need to respond. So I think events like that are really fun. Airdrops are really fun to see if people are like holding their position, buying more, if they're selling. When there's like a big hack, that's when you start to get like breaking news, or when a company that has a token like launches a new product or a new feature, you start to see that play out in the transactions as well, and people sharing like what's happening that way. So I think it's like we built this, like I feel like my job as a product builder is making this canvas and making sure everyone has like all the tools and the paints and the colors that they need, and sitting back and letting people like go to work. And some people are going to paint the Mona Lisa and other people are going to paint a giant dildo, but like each one is entertaining in its own way. So
Truly. Maybe last question before we let you go. I'm curious how you're thinking about the business here. Like, where's the revenue come from? How are you thinking about that?
Yeah, so in the short term, it's definitely transaction fees. But over the long term, I actually see targeted advertisements becoming a really big part of this. And
something you don't hear often from crypto consumer founders here, Josh.
I'm down to hear it.
Yeah.
It's a great business model.
Yeah, I don't think we're at the point just yet because there's not that many teams spending big money on like targeted advertisements. But from my experience at Uniswap, there's definitely like a cohort of users that you want to like target ads to. And these teams do spend a lot of money on like the Apple Ad Store, and they're looking for like a very specific user. They're looking for a user that makes them the most money, and for that you need like on-chain data for. So since we built this indexer and since we have all this data in our backend that we're using for our app, we could actually like recycle that to serve targeted advertisements to our users. So if a team like Uniswap or someone else wants to target someone that swaps 50 times a month and like their average transaction size is $100, like we could actually help teams do that. And then we also built a distribution channel that's super relevant to seeing that type of content. So I think that's going to be super prevalent in the mid to long term.
I mean, I think that the key for advertising is if you make it extremely valuable for me to advertise there, you can build a very good business. So I think that's interesting.
If you advertise on Twitter today, you don't know if like the people seeing your stuff actually have a wallet or how active they are on chain. So I think it's a huge, it's 100x improvement.
Yeah, you can track. Show me the ad and see the interaction. I like it. All right, man. Well, yeah, I think you're going after, like, there's sort of nuance to this product that for users I think the core of Josh's question around like, is the asset the issue here, I think also shows up in the information that you show a user who's participating. And I think many of these folks are really pulling a lot of that out and really just saying, okay, this is copy trade, speculative bet, probably short-term hold, and really not allowing you to dive in anywhere remotely deeply into what's actually happening with these tokens. And so I think there's a yearning, at least I feel, in these apps to have a lot more context around it. And I think it's very interesting to come at it from like the chains are the network, and let's go expose that information across it. So wish you well as you go take this to market. I know you guys have been building for years in this space, very, very capable human beings. So definitely one to watch.
Thank you. Thanks for having us on this amazing platform you guys have been built in.
Thanks for joining us, man. We just like to learn, see the world through your eyes, and art. Nice art, though. We didn't even comment on the art. I mean, it's not actually, I don't like your art today. I still have PTSD from red yesterday. So if you could show up with green next time, we'd appreciate it.
I'll switch it out. I actually do have a green paint in.
There we go. Next time. Scott, thanks so much.
See you guys later.
Hanging out with us today.